thing does not tip. Like, I'm in situations where I expect this thing to maybe start to lift a little bit, and it just doesn't. Like, you could buy this and just crash this thing through that stuff, and it will eat it all up and love it.
Quick little intro here before we get into all the footage and coverage of our trip and ride up in Mt Valin. Unfortunately, I had a major issue with my microphone and the helmet. Learned a lot about it with the snow dust and super cold temperatures and stuff, so I know what to do moving forward so that this doesn't happen again. The microphone essentially got plugged up with ice and snow dust and everything, so either the audio on the half of each day is either super muffled or pretty much just non-existent. So with that said, gonna go ahead and do the video like normal, do the trip, the coverage, the riding footage, all that stuff that I can use, and then we'll come back to the shop here and I'll go over everything with these sleds that we experienced and I want to talk about and convey to you guys. So without dragging this out more, let's get into it. Only 7 hours to go.
You never know where Pat's taking us. On the trail or on the road.
That's right. Trail or road, we never know where we're going to end up. We're just along for the ride. Buddy, turn that shit off, will you? Who's that?
Through a strange vortex in the multiverse.
He's chewing. Oh god, Pat's about to drive into this other one. Dude, that thing's got all the leaf spring in it. You could put a Sidewinder in that.
Star 440.
No shot. He doesn't have a Titan
Pro
S4.
Star S4.
The S4?
It is.
The 800-pound transfer case thing? No shot. We're gonna find out. But yeah, we made it. We are at Mt Valin, right? This is the base-ish kind of thing. We got a cabin up here. Pat booked everything, as he does, which is great. So it's awesome. We don't really have to worry about anything. We just show up, follow him, and ride. Can't ask for more than that. So yeah, we're hiding because it's a little windy and cold, and we're trying to figure out if we want to unload sleds and then gear up, or gear up and unload sleds, the usual. I thought we were gonna have some sun today, but apparently that's gone. We're not getting any sun today. No tan for the boys. Oh yeah, we got all the straps. We're strapped on in here. So let's see. It's been what, 24 hours out in the cold to see how the cold start is. Ah, like a dream. Oh yeah, nothing to it. Buddy did bring the new Simmons, dude. Look at these things. He's got pontoons on the front. Jeez, oh, thank God for these gloves, dude. These are already worth the exuberant price tag. 280 bucks. Climate technology. If you're anti-skidoo, they do make these in mechanics wear, but I don't know how well they'll be for gripping bars and whatnot. But I'm very excited to see how these go today. Like we said earlier, we are in Mt Valin. 7-hour drive for us boys. New sled. Last year's sled. New Precision Sports build with Martin. 2 new cats. Benny sled new last year. Oh man, my hands are already back. Whoa, these are cool. These climate things. You get an app. You acclimate these in your house to your hand temp. And I mean, my hands are already warm and back. And I'm sure most of you know what it's like getting ready when it's 0 degrees and windy and no sun. So, is he still naked in here?
Oh, close.
I had to hold it up off the ground so it would freeze.
Right,
yep. Be like Joe Dirt, that poor dog, you know?
Joe Dirt.
Yeah. Buddy, these gloves,
I know.
these are
I
sick.
got them on the lowest setting, and they're just toasty.
I got mine on 83 and I'm feeling good.
65 because I want my batteries to last.
Well, the 5 hours at full tilt.
Really?
Yeah. All right, let's get it going. See how this hot rod goes. Whole new sled. No idea what to expect other than she probably gonna be a little stiff. Oh yeah. The fronts I have the QS3 on full soft, but I have no idea on spring preload. Every other adjuster is just right in the middle. Oh yeah, this thing's gonna eat up whatever you throw at it. We've got a total of 13 miles on this hog. So far in this loose stuff, I'm surprised already. The stock skis are turning pretty well. I know this thing has quite a bit of ski pressure, so I can't say I'm overly surprised, but for as loose as this stuff is, it's turning pretty good. This engine feels awesome though, man. Yeah, I had to turn those gloves down already.
Yeah, I got them on the lowest setting and my hands are toasty.
Yeah. Oh, sick, buddy. We're soft on that guy. All right, cool. All right. Both shocks turned down already in the back. The fronts are full soft. Rears are full soft. I knew this thing was going to be stiff. It's not bad. I need another 100 more pounds on my ass. Oh, that's already better. Way better. Yeah, this thing's crazy, dude. She is stiff, but that stuff right there is like barely getting into what it wants to do. That's really cool. So we got about 10 miles on the old girl since we left, and like I kind of predicted in my in-depth comparison video, it's just ready to go through whatever you can find. I mean, I've got the QS3 on the front track shock, softened right up. It's on full soft, and I have barely, I think there was one time where I barely tickled the bump stop on a big G out into a little bridge. As you can see, a lot of snow dust, not much terrain definition, but even with getting beat up on this thing over a lot of the smaller stuff, because this thing's just ready to fly through it, it's so easy to ride. The chassis is just incredible. Like this stuff right here, look at how much snow we're in. I'm on a stock ski with a 6-inch round bar, Snow Studs Magnum, and it's just carving right through this. It takes very minimal body effort to like ride this thing at the speeds we're going. I'm just super impressed with the chassis. I know, like I said in that comparison video, this RXC, it's going to be stiff for me, and if like you're an average trail rider like me and you're buying one of these, it's probably going to be too stiff unless you're in that 260, 300 pound weight range. For me, I got to do some shock work and stuff and soften it up, but I am very happy with this thing so far. It's very, very good in terms of the chassis balance.
What do you have them set on?
Let's see, 72, I think?
Oh, I got mine on 65, and I got my hand grips about off.
I was going to say, my hand warmer, yeah, I'm at 72 and a half, so I'm going to knock that down.
Yeah.
60.
I mean, they're going to keep them, they're going to stay on.
Oh, I'm plenty warm, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Tyler, what do you think?
Stiff.
Is it? Even yours is stiff?
What's that?
Yours is stiff too?
Oh, yeah. My gauge won't stay at one place.
Really?
No.
I almost think there was something with the multi-switch here. Check your buttons, make sure none of them are froze, especially that guy.
It's working. What it does is...
You want me to take you down a click?
Sure, but it won't stay on that screen. If you find it...
Here, hit this.
Watch.
Does it stay on this one?
Yep.
Interesting. Yeah, that's fucked.
Yeah.
What about the chassis though?
I like the chassis, but she's not very compliant.
Now you're on 2 there, so knock them all down 1 click and see what that gets you. The engine is very, very smooth in terms of its response and power band, and like just cruising along partial throttle, you can hear the thing just, she's right there. The brake feels great. This ice arrowhead feels really good. I haven't had any experiences where like I get on the brake and I feel like I'm not slowing down or something, so I think all their angled lugs and whatnot are working as intended. But again, we're in a lot of loose snow. Also don't feel like it's spinning like crazy. I feel like when I want it to accelerate, it does. So yeah, all in all, so far, we're doing good, buddy. Oh, this chassis is so good. Just that little corner right there of coming in just a whisker hot, having to get on the brake and then slide forward like this. This thing feels incredible. Oh. If you like the Matrix and you think the Matrix is good, this thing is another step in the right direction. Now that we're turning it up a little bit, our speeds are picking up. Granted, the bumps definitely are not as big, but at these speeds, this trail chop really isn't feeling that bad. It's definitely a little bit stiff in the rear, but the front's feeling pretty good. Like this stuff in here, it just wants to go. It's like, just turn me up, let's go, let me loose. Let the cat out of the bag, dude. I can't believe it turns this good with this stock ski, man. Oh, they nailed this chassis. This is incredible. Oh, this thing's great, dude. Just past an intersection, just past an intersection sign for Relay La Chapelle. I think I'm going to butcher all these names, just so you guys know. I'm going to try my best, but I'm going to butcher them all. And apologies for that. I have zero knowledge of the French language, so yeah. Yeah, this, oh my god, it's going to get old for you guys, but this chassis is really, really good. It feels so balanced and dynamic for what I want it to do. When I move just a little bit, it goes where I want it to. Granted, we haven't been in any crazy frozen hardpack stuff, but this thing has not tipped up on a ski on me once. It hasn't done anything remotely alarming. It's just doing everything that it's supposed to. It's going to be really hard for me to not praise this thing today. Again, it's brand new. I'm excited about it, but it is just feeling really, really good. How has it turned this good? In this stuff with the stocks, there's nothing special about the bottom of the ski. It's like flat with a keel in it. Crazy. Yeah, that stuff there, 8 inches chop at, I don't know, at speed, let's say, and it just swallows it right up. It's probably no smart shocks on soft, but for its intended purpose, this thing's doing what it's supposed to. But like, yeah, we're hammering through trash right there, and it's not tipping, it's not getting weird. She's just boogieing, dude. Toe holds feel good. You can get a little bit of the roll of the foot. You can roll your foot way out if you want. You can hook up into it. Patrick is cranking. We're gonna not get lost in this snow dust. There we go. Oh boy. Where are the boys at? Uh-oh. There he is. All right, let's go. Well, I'm thinking about it here because I can hear it every once in a while. Well, on this RXC, they must have a lot of metal in these pads on this thing because every once in a while you can hear it squeal, which, oh God, I don't mind one bit. So if you have one, don't be alarmed if when you get on the brake every now and then you hear a little bit of an eek. It's just the high metal content in the pads. As far as the feel of the brake goes, I would say that this is almost a direct middle ground between the Skidoo brake and the Polaris brake. You don't have insane modulation feel like you do with the Polaris one. Like, that is by far one of the most responsive feeling brake systems on the market. But this feels really good. I think it's right in between the Skidoo one and the Polaris. It doesn't feel dull. I know what it's going to do. Woo! You can modulate it pretty well. Again, the snow, keep that in mind with the 1.3 ice arrowhead. So every once in a while I'll get on it and it will kind of not lock up, but it will maybe slide a little bit more than I expected it to given the brake pressure I'm applying, which I think is kind of natural for a breakdown on the driver. But the overall feel of it is very, very good. I have zero complaints about the brake rotor. I don't wish it had more resolution. I don't wish it had less. It is very, very good. Not really any negative to the brake other than on an RXC you might hear a little bit of squealing. So that is pretty much what I've got to say so far about the brake. Hear a little squeal right there. See? Squeal. Another bit we might as well talk on is like wheelie factor, right? It's not an Assault, it's not a Polaris, and again that comes down to that long arm, but if you have a little rise and you want to get the skis up, it will do it. You just have to really kind of not necessarily make it do it, but you have to be intentional with getting that crazy ski lift out of it. But it is by no means dull and like disconnected feeling. It feels very good. It's balanced. Again, the chassis really does what you want it to, at least on this RXC. I've got real curious. Woof. I'm real curious to talk to Tyler about his 129 and see how that thing is in that playfulness fun factor department. But this is by no means giving me any negatives of where I'm like, man, I really wish it would wheelie more. It's awesome. When I want it to, I can make it do it. And the rest of the time, it stays consistent and does exactly what it's supposed to. We got some fuel. We're gonna go, oh my God, my nose thingy. Oh, the breath box is so cold. We got some fuel. Tyler bumped his torsion springs up because he's a little soft, sagging in a little too much. Fuel, gonna go do a loop, a little blast, and then come back here to Relay La Chapelle for lunch. Yeah, these gloves are the best thing I've bought in a very long time. So if any of you have cold hands and want a glove that is going to take care of every single cold hand issue, this is it. The bar feel is really good for being brand new. I don't even have them fully broke in yet. They feel great. I've got good dexterity. I can grab stuff. I can move my fingers around. They are expensive. They're like 280 bucks, but my God, are they worth it. How is this doing this on a stock ski? I can't get over, this thing does not tip. Like, I'm in situations where I expect this thing to maybe start to lift a little bit, and it just doesn't. So impressive. Oof, I should have done it. I should have done it. As far as the wind protection goes, I'm layered up really good today, so I'm plenty warm. I'm almost too warm at times. Like right now, we're perfect because we're cranking. But in the beginning, I was starting to get really hot. But anyway, I can't say it's blowing me off of the machine. Like, I don't feel like a massive parachute, but I definitely have a lot of wind at my waistline area, which is kind of expected with the way this cowling looks. I think the Matrix platform out of the box is the warmest chassis out there. I think they did an amazing job with aerodynamics and keeping the rider warm with very minimal wings and stuff, aftermarket windshields and such, or even OEM windshields. Jeez, I don't know why. Who buys aftermarket windshields anymore? But you know what I'm saying. This feels pretty good. I don't feel like I'm getting blasted in the neck or the chest. I just feel a little bit of wind at the waistline, but I do have my leg vents open, so it could be some of that. All in all, I don't feel like I'm trying to be pulled off the sled from wind, which is nice. I would be curious to hop on a Matrix back-to-back right now and feel the difference in my body. But I would imagine this is going to be a quite colder of a ride than the Matrix is. See you later. Alright. Go and put this thing through paces a little bit. It is getting a little bit hard to see terrain definition, but that's okay. Boy, it is truly impressive when you start pushing it through that stuff right there. I hope some of the definition comes out. At some point I'm gonna have to put a camera on the A-arm or something, get real down low to capture this stuff, but it is really cool. This thing just eats this stuff up. I can't believe how good it handles. Big hole. Oh boy, we stuffed the front into that one. Took it mostly in the belly pan, those composite driver covers. Seems fine. Didn't hear any snapping noises, so I think we're good. I might leave the shocks alone so I can pound it through this stuff. That's crazy. Yep, this thing works really good. Just had breakfast at Albert's 31, and now we are going on like an 80-mile jaunt over to, I think he said Domaine La Piste or something along those lines. Seems like most of the groomers went out last night, so trails are definitely better. A lot of people out though, so it's gonna get chopped up, I'm guessing, end of the day pretty good, but that's to be expected. Alright, Pat just waved me by, running the fresh air here for a bit. Not much more to talk about that I didn't really cover yesterday. All in all, I'm still really happy with the thing. It's just running great. It carves everything right out like this. It's just wild how smooth and stable this thing is. It's just so easy to ride. You can move wherever. That's like the most ski tip I've ever gotten out of it was right there. This thing is incredible. This is hard pack stuff too, for it to just carve this out with a stock ski, not get tippy. Impressive. Hopefully, riding like this, we have enough fuel to make it all the way to where we're going, because we are letting it eat a little bit. Woo, doggy.
Now that you've either gotten through and watched the whole video and all the riding stuff and our whole trip, or you skipped ahead to this point for kind of the overview and review of our first 350 miles or so on these sleds, let's get into talking about that. I love the chassis, I love the dynamics, I love everything about how this sled feels. Yes, there's some stuff that needs fine-tuning and some work here and there to get it to be exactly what I want, but for what this sled is and its intended purposes, this thing is incredible. I had a lot of positives with this sled. I had some negatives, some things that we're going to talk about right now that I think everyone needs to be aware of moving forward with these sleds, especially on the Snow Pro. But all in all, I am still very happy with this machine. I'm very excited to continue working with it throughout this season and see what me and everyone else on the program can put together and do with these things. So with that aside, I know everyone's going to want to know the negatives, right? Or things that I didn't like or whatever. There really aren't that many. The clutching is very far out, in my opinion. Maybe it will work for some people and how they're gonna ride, but for me, the clutching is not gonna work. I don't wanna get into it a lot and try to really speak negatively about it, but the clutching needs work. I'm working with Terry and Tim over at Thunder Products and Will at Velocity Sled Performance to work on that performance aspect side of this. I have one calibration in this already. I have another calibration to go ahead and put into the Snow Pro. So we're gonna be testing a lot of stuff. We're gonna be developing clutch kits and packages for these things. The major issue that I found with this was the secondary. I'll flash up a picture right now of secondary belt wear after 350 miles or so in Canada. Not great, needs work. A lot of sleds these days, I can't say a lot, but some other models, Comp Turbo, needs clutching work as well. So it's not out of the norm for what we're experiencing when those of us ride these sleds the way that we do. Clutching aside, moving on, the only other big negative I have with my sled is snow dust buildup, especially by the belt guard. That kind of freaks me out a little bit. I had some snow dust buildup in the lower tie rod boot. They all do it, right? So even one of the 900Rs in our group had a lot of snow dust buildup and ice buildup in the steering, to where the second day, or actually the third day, when we went to load the sleds in the trailer, could not turn to the left, or maybe it was to the right. Either way, steering all bound up, frozen up. That's happened on the 900Rs for quite a while now. We had the worst of the worst snow conditions possible for snow dust and ice buildup like that. High of 3 degrees Fahrenheit, 3 to 4 inches of fresh snow overnight at 0 degrees, and then riding through that all day long at 60 plus miles an hour for 2 days, 350 miles, right? Like, it's just the worst of the worst for snow dust conditions. So I want to bring it up so that people are aware of it, but I don't want to harp on it to like, oh my God, it's a major issue to where it's going to cause major problems. It's just something that you guys need to be aware of if you're riding in those conditions. Check the panel on the other side. I'm sure I put the video clip in, but I'm filming this before I've edited the entire video. So bear with me on some of that. You might have already seen it in the video. But again, if you skipped ahead to this point, I'll flash up another clip of the ice buildup down there. There wasn't really any ice buildup on the clutch side. We had a little bit up on the gauge and stuff like that, which if you don't lock the screen, which you can lock the screen from the touch feature, if you have a lot of snow dust and moisture built up on there, it will kind of cycle through screens and stuff. So you just got to lock that touch screen out. I believe it's holding right on the multifunction switch for 3 or 5 seconds or something like that, and it will lock the screen from touch, so that doesn't happen. That was a minor issue that we ran into, but we didn't know the lock feature at the time, so now I know the lock feature. That's not a problem. As far as the RXC goes, that's kind of all that I really ran into with this. I knew the suspension was going to be a little bit stiff for me, but for its intended purpose, it did incredible. Like, the end of the second day, we had 2-foot moguls as far as you could see around the major hub trails by Mt Valin and Relay La Chapelle and all that. Probably butchered those names. And this thing on full soft all the way around, I could just hammer through that stuff as fast as I wanted, and I've never been on anything that was so predictable and confidence inspiring through stuff like that than this thing. It just never did anything weird and was always doing everything I wanted it to do when I wanted it to. It just, I can't stress that enough, that in 350 miles, I never once had this thing catch a ski crazy or try to buck me off or hit a bump and rebound weird. It just did everything I wanted it to all the time with my inputs, making it do what I wanted it to do, which is what I'm looking for in a sled, and that's part of why I'm so thrilled with this thing. So that's pretty much that. It was a little bit stiff. As you can see, we've got shocks out of both of these sleds over to Andy at Wenslath Performance, working on some calibrations there as well. We've got 2 full sets of AC5s coming back to try in the Snow Pro, because that is the biggest negative with these 2 sleds that we ran into in our entire trip, is that the valving on the Snow Pro is very, very far out to lunch. It is so stiff. It is all of 15 or 20% stiffer than the RXC. And it's a bummer to see that, because everything else about the sled is so good. But Tyler, who rides this and owns that Snow Pro, normally likes a sled to be very stiff. And normally every sled he buys is too soft, and he's sending shocks out to be rebuilt. The poor guy could hardly ride that thing. And that's just not okay. I mean, the valving stack on that is so far out, it's not funny. I feel really bad for a lot of people that bought Snow Pros, because I think unless you're 300 pounds or more before your gear, that thing's gonna be beating you up, because it is very, very stiff. I think the spring rates are great. I think the overall package of what is there is very good, but the valving in the shocks needs to be redone for probably 98% of the people that are buying them. And again, that's my opinion, but it's based off of what we felt as an entire group swapping around sleds and trying that thing. It was too stiff for everyone, and that's just very unfortunate. It is what it is at this point. I don't want to really harp on it and talk about it, but that's what I'm seeing. That's what we felt. That's how we wrote it. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but on the positive side, we've already got 2 calibrations in the works. We've got 2 calibrations coming back for us to test. So we will have revalve packages available for people. And I don't want this to seem like I am trying to sell calibrations for people. Obviously, yes, we want to sell calibrations, but not to the point where, Jesus, choking on my gum. Not to the point where we're trying to make something up that's not a problem. There's already a couple reports of it on Hardcore Sledder about the sled being pretty stiff. It's just valved very, very stiff. So yeah, that's the deal with the Snow Pro. If you bought a Snow Pro and you take it out and you ride it and you find it's way too stiff, feel free to reach out to us. We've definitely got calibrations in the works. Yeah, that's that with the Snow Pro. I didn't really have many major complaints. Yes, there's some vibration with these sleds. You have a Stroker 858 in a very light and rigid chassis. And that's one thing that I've been having a hard time with, because I know some people, the vibration or the harmonics is going to affect them more than others. But I kind of want to put out this point of you got to think about what you're buying here and what Cat built to satisfy a demand, right? You look around the internet and people constantly want a light sled. They want a sled that makes a lot of power. They don't want it to tip. They want it to be very predictable. You can't really have that package, especially in the light department. If you make something light and rigid, but you put a lot of power in it, you're going to have harmonics somewhere. That's just the nature of the beast. You look at any lightweight race car and go try and drive it, it's not going to be comfortable. It's going to be loud. It's going to have harmonics. It's going to have vibrations. And I'm not saying that this is a lightweight race car, but it's pretty lightweight and it's pretty race oriented. Like this, especially the RXC, even the Snow Pro, look at the sleds. There isn't really anything about these sleds that displays comfort cruiser. Like these are built to be ridden hard at speed through whatever you want to satisfy that side of the market. So I think that kind of circles back to something I've touched on in a few other videos of like, you got to kind of be realistic about what you're buying to fit your own needs. And sometimes that's hard because the marketing stuff just isn't there to kind of convey what each model is or what each brand is trying to target. But I don't think these are going to be the comfort cruiser thing that some people kind of want them to be. These are aggressive, raw machines. And if you're buying one, you kind of have to understand that going into it. And that's where like I realize that there is some vibration to the machine, especially when you come into an intersection, you idle down and it's at that 2,800 high idle RPM. They shake pretty good there, but it idles down after and it's relatively smooth. The biggest vibrations I felt were like decel around 5,000 RPMs, or if you're sitting trying to cruise at 35, 40, it does have some vibration there, which I don't believe these sleds are built or intended to do that. I think this is a different application. And if you're buying it for that, it's not really what it's meant to do. But again, all of this is my opinion. I'm just trying to relay experience and information to you guys to formulate your own opinions to move forward with it and do whatever you're gonna do with that information. Some other things that I was very impressed with, the stock ski, all in all, the stock RXC package. I can't believe how well this thing turned in every condition. Like the really hard pack, the fresh groom stuff, 15, 20 minutes after the groomer went through, the deeper fluffy stuff that fell the night before, every condition, this thing just turned, and it turned easy. It was by far the easiest machine for me to ride all weekend long. Like, yes, it was a little stiff and it beat me up in that regard, but it was the easiest machine to ride at speed with the group. Never once did I feel like, oh, okay, I got to work a little bit here to keep up with the guys. It was just always, yep, I'm just riding along at speed, enjoying riding and turning where I want to in the sled, not fighting me, not tipping and not doing anything weird. I can't speak highly enough about the overall balance of the chassis and dynamics of the RXC. And that's what I keep coming back to of like, that's what I've been looking for in a sled and what I've been chasing and trying to build on my own. And I've got it in this. I just need to work on refining some other small things that are relatively simple. So all in all, I'm pumped. I'm very happy with my purchase. I'm glad I have this thing. I know Tyler isn't thrilled with his Snow Pro because of how stiff the thing was, but we're working on that. So hopefully we can get that sorted and that will come around a little bit and he'll be a little happier with that thing. But I'm excited to get some snow. We've got some snow falling outside. We're looking forward to getting out and testing and doing more riding and bringing you guys more adventures and stuff like that. Again, I hope this information helped. I hope it's not taken too seriously to where people get offended or something along those lines. Again, just my opinions and experience and just relaying this to you guys so that you can take it all in and formulate your own opinions on, if you have one, what route you want to go. If you're thinking about trying to find one, maybe it is for you, or you're thinking, hey, this is definitely up my alley, or maybe this isn't where I want to go with what I want for a sled. So I don't know. I'm going to wrap it up there because I feel like I'm just going to keep rambling. I hope all this stuff helped. I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a good holiday. Thanks for watching.